The country is off to a strong start to this new year, at least when it comes to the jobs front, despite a January that was marked by record levels of COVID cases. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says private non-farm payrolls grew by 467,000 jobs last month. The report also finds jobs that were expected to be negatively affected by the spreading of the Omicron variant, like bars and restaurants, actually expanded. Even the number of workers grew by 1.4 million. The latest jobs report also revised the originally estimated job growth of 199,000 jobs to 510,000.
And now let's bring in President of Taxpayers Protection Alliance, David Williams, to explain what these numbers really mean. Welcome and good morning, David.
Hey, David, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. And yes, I mean, it's great when jobs are added to the economy, right? But I don't know if this administration really can take credit for that, because you can't shut off a faucet, turn it back on, and say you discovered water. I mean, the water was already there, so they just turned this faucet back on. And of course, I'm talking about lockdowns. And a lot of what these blue states are going through is, here in D.C., we've seen a lot of lockdowns and people that have lost their businesses. So yes, the jobs numbers are good, but there's a lot underneath that are still brewing that good news for the consumer or the taxpayer.
David, on your point there, I think that's what a lot of people who don't really know what the jobs numbers report really includes or what it really means. So what you're saying, and of course, correct me if I'm wrong, is that because of the pandemic, those jobs went away. Okay, so then we were down jobs. Then the pandemic, the restrictions kind of lifted. So those people went back to jobs, or people went in and filled those jobs. So is that what this jobs report is including, those people who came back to jobs that were not filled because of the pandemic?
Yeah, and that's exactly what this jobs report is saying, is that we're seeing the pendulum swing back. And let's be honest, that the economy was strong before COVID. We had these massive tax cuts in 2017 that just, catapulted this economy into areas that we had never seen before. And of course, in 2020, we had to we didn't have to, but everything was shut down and we saw, this change. But fundamentally, the economy was strong. This administration, the Biden administration, has done nothing to really help the economy. If you look at what it's done, it's signed the $1.9 trillion COVID relief at the beginning of 2021. That caused inflation. And that was a hardship on consumers, on taxpayers, on everybody. And, gas prices really is the canary in the coal mine, right? Because that affects so much. It affects people taking kids to school, if they're going to school, going to work, but also shipping goods from one end of the country to the other. So when you see inflation, it really puts a bit of a damper on the jobs numbers. But again, I'm really happy that 400,000 plus people are back in the workforce. That's only going to help the economy.
Millions of people leaving the job market and deciding to quit their jobs. How is that impacting the job numbers? And is that even reflective in the numbers that the Labor Department is giving out?
So the Labor Department really has weird ways of doing this, because we've seen in the past where there were really bad jobs numbers, yet unemployment went down because people stopped looking for work. So when you look at the unemployment number, and yes, we saw an uptick this past month, but it's really not a true reflection of the economy. And that's why I don't want people to get too complacent with this and say, well, we added 400,000 jobs. Yes, but what's next? And we're going to see inflation numbers coming out probably in the next few weeks that probably are going to scare a lot of people, and a lot of people that have to make ends meet, right? People are making choices now when they go to the grocery store, if there's anything on the shelves in the grocery store. So, these jobs numbers, let's not take it as a false sense of security for the economy.
And David, before we let you go, I just wanted to touch on December's job numbers report being revised. And the revision usually is slight. Usually we see a slight revision, not as massive as 199,000 jobs to now 510,000 jobs is a new revision. Is that normal, or where is that huge difference coming from?
So I was really shocked when I saw the December's jobs numbers before the revision, because December is when a lot of hiring happens because of the holiday. So that number to begin with seemed off, and I was really concerned about that. So this revision doesn't come as much of a shock to me because of that scenario. But then again, this economy is so weird right now. So we don't know from month to month what's going to happen. We don't see a lot of confidence in the economy. That's what we want. And my concern is you have blue states, and here in the District of Columbia, is that a lot of things are closed down, and we're seeing that with the vaccine mandates in some of these places, that the governments are actively closing these businesses, that can't be good for jobs and that can't be good for long-term growth. And so, again, this administration isn't doing anything to do that. And we saw President Trump with getting rid of regulations, cutting taxes. So we had a fundamentally strong economy before all this happened, and we need to get back to that. And quite frankly, stop spending money. We need to stop spending taxpayer money on silly things like Build Back Better or other things.
David Williams, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. And as you said, uncertainty in the economy never is good for the markets either. Uncertainty can shake up those markets as well. We appreciate you being here with us.